Good morning everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Volmer, and today I've got a big mega update for you. So it's promises to take some time, so sit back, relax, enjoy with your favourite beverage, and let's get straight to it. So as many of you will know, I've been off this week, and the big plan was to get the major construction and the final piece of construction of the layout built. So we will go over to the back end to see how far I've got with that very shortly. In the meantime, I've got lots to show you, lots of new stuff that's turned up on the layout and stuff that's going to be reused and stuff that I've made further progress with. So, for example, something that I've been going to reuse, which is going to be making a comeback, is one of my little modules that I made some time ago, and here it is. This is what used to be Bordelon Gardens Station, Platform 2. This is still Bordelon Gardens in its current state. I haven't done actually too much to this as of yet, but it will be getting a refurb, including getting rid of these T lamps and putting on some of the working lamps, which I've obviously created at Mildenhall, Mildenhall and Volmer, well basically at Volmer Container Terminal. So we're going to have some of those T lamps on here. The station will also be renamed. I'm not sure what it is yet. I've usually got some in the pipeline, but haven't quite got there yet. But needless to say, this will be making a appearance again on the layout, so it's good. I've always quite liked this, so this is going to be reused, and again I'll show you whereabouts we're going to put it. Some more mundane stuff is quite weighty, this paints and filler. This is going to be for landforms and for road textures, road making. So again, I will show you how I'll be using this, or where I'm going to be using it, I should say. So again, I've got a tub of that. Also, some time ago, I bought some Gauge Master Seafoam trees, and I'm getting through all of that. In fact, I've got through both boxes and I've been picking out some more. So I've now got some more trees sort of ready to be planted. So there's one set. I've got about 4 sets here. There's a second set. And then there's 3 and 4. So I've picked out all the bits that I think I can use. So they'll be used on the layout, on the new section, which is still yet to be built. Well, yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that bit when we do. Something else that's turned up on the layout is not only have we got Bordelon Gardens making a reappearance, but also this GWR station building by Oxford Rail has also arrived. So that's going to be a second station. So there's going to be Mildenhall, it's going to be this station, which is going to be Wigmore, and then we're going to have the little one as well, and there might possibly be one more, but I'm not sure yet. So this is a really beautiful building. I think I should take it out to show you, to be honest, because I think you should have a look. I mean, it's been around for a little while. I was a bit worried I might not be able to get hold of it, but I managed to get hold of it via the Oxford Rail website. And here it is. It is lovely. It really is nice. So let's just have a look at that. That is such a beautiful station building. That really is. Nothing too exciting, but it's a beautiful building nonetheless. And that's what I want. Just something like that. I didn't really want to have to go scratch building again for anything. Although I will have to paint the interior if I want to put lighting in it, or do something with it anyway. But it's a beautiful building, so I'm really pleased with that. That's just going to look ace once it's done. And I'll show you sort of whereabouts I'm proposing to put it. But like I said, it's absolutely stunning building. So next on my list of things to show you is I've got some Woodland Scenics burnt grass. So that's nothing special really, just more modelling scenics. 3 new vehicles have turned up, and this is a Land Rover Discovery, which I think is really beautiful. It's really, really nice. So also we've got the brand new Oxford Diecast 4 Transit Custom, I believe they call it. And this is in the AA colour scheme, which I think is really, really smart. It's the only one I've seen so far, although I do believe that Oxford Diecast are planning on bringing out the plain white version, according to their catalogue. And also, I've got a black Ford Galaxy, which I'm going to be using as a mini cab. So that's really cool as well. So those are the 3 vehicles that have turned up. Also, now I'm not going to go too in depth on what I'm about to show you now, because I'm going to do a specific video on them. So otherwise this video is just going to go on way too long. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll just give you a quick preview of what I have, and then I will do a specific video on these items. So we're now going to talk about double bubble, and basically what that means is I have not 1 but 2 bubble car DMUs turn up on my layout, and here they are. And as you can see, one's a Dapol and one is a Hornby. So I will just quickly take them out so you can have a look, but we will sort of talk about them in more detail on probably the next video or so. It's just that, like I said, just to keep the time down on this video, because I know it's going to be quite a long video, I'll just give you a quick show you. So this is a Hornby 121 bubble car. Now, the R number for this, for those of you interested, is R3915, and it's a Network Rail Class 121. Now, this particular one that I'm about to show you isn't one that you'll buy, and what I mean by that is I've actually modified this one. Not by a lot, but I've modified it enough. So if you like it, it's not actually the straight out of the box edition. So this particular one cost me, I think it was £88 brand new from Paul, and it's a beautiful little DMU. And what's different about this one as opposed to the one that you get straight out of the box is the fact that I've actually lightly weathered the chassis, and it's been weathered. The front end has been weathered as well, and I painted the buffers. So they were originally plastic red and everything like that, but I managed to find some pictures on the internet, and I found that although they did have red buffers, they also got painted at some point. So I painted them in the silver and weathered it. And at this end, there's actually some cab details, so that's where I've put the driver, and I've also sprayed it up as well, so it's nicely weathered. And then the other big thing about this bubble car, as you can see, it's got a speaker underneath, so it's got sound in it, and it's got YouTube sound in it. So, you know, it sounds actually awesome. I love it. It's a fun little DMU. I won't have it running just yet on this layout, because what I'm going to be doing is I'll do a proper video on this, and then we can go through it a bit more properly on the next video or something. So look out for that video. But I just wanted to show you that that's turned up. Let me just put this back properly if I can. It's like a certain way. I should point out that the body was a complete nightmare to take off of this particular DMU, because basically it didn't want to come off. It had 2 screws, which you would have thought was enough, which I liked the idea of 2 screws, but it was also clipped. But the clips were so tight on, honestly, it was a nightmare to try and get the body off. I don't know why they needed to do that. I would have thought the 2 screws would have been sufficient, but to me it seems a bit overkill, but never mind. So that's that bubble car, which is the R3915. It's a lovely little DMU. It's a lovely little runner. Cost me about £88. Then we come to this one. Now this one was on eBay and it's Rover Sheffield via eBay, their website, their store website. Now, when I saw this, I just couldn't leave it there. It just had to come home. Why? Because the price was absolutely amazing. And it was just such a lovely DMU. So it was £79 that they were asking for it, which for a DMU from Dapol is really, really cheap. I was seeing some of these exact same ones on eBay at the same time, going for anywhere between 100 and 120, £30. So to get this for £79 was a bargain. But I didn't actually pay £79 because Rover Sheffield said, make me an offer. So I made them an offer and I eventually got it all in with postage for just £70. And at that price, you couldn't even argue at that. I mean, it's a better model than the Hornby and it cost me less, albeit that this is actually a pre-owned, this isn't brand new. Although it did say it is, and it does say, as new, tested, and in excellent condition or mint condition, whatever it says. As new condition, pre-owned. So, and I've seen stuff on Rover Sheffield eBay website, and you do have to look at their pictures very closely, because I've seen stuff on there that's really, really quite tatty, to say the least. So you really do have to examine the photographs that they put up properly before you even consider buying it. That is my one piece of advice, because like I said, you don't want to get caught out by it. But I wasn't to be disappointed. It does have these Dapol 1-2 ones, which I think this one is, do have known issues. And Sam's Trains pointed it out on his, because I did actually watch his review among other people's. And these Dapol ones tended to derail on second radius curves, which seems a bit crazy for a Bobo like DMU. However, it did. And the problem lies within the detail of the bogies, which then catch the underside detail of the chassis, which then stop the bogie from travelling to its full travel position to get round the corners. And some people have taken files and stuff like that. But I'm pleased to say that I put a decoder in this and I did run it around the second radius curves, and this thing just, it's faultless. And it is in absolute stunning condition. It really is. And it's so beautiful. And so which one did I go for? Well, that's ready now. Now you do have to be careful handling these things, because again the underside is quite fragile, but here it is. This is the rail track clearing the way little bubble car, and I have to say it is in absolutely stunning condition. You know, it's like, it is as new, I have to say. All the details there was nothing broken. It's the body actually came off quite easily. The only thing I would say is that the prism on one end for the lights is missing, which means there's a little bit of light bleed when it's on one direction, when it's on the tail lights section, but that isn't a big deal. But I would highly recommend this. I mean, for me to pick this up for 70 quid, it's just absolutely stunning. Honestly, it runs absolutely beautifully. So I cannot argue with that. And like I said, I'll go into more detail when I do this specific video called Double Bubble. So look out for that video when that comes out. Like I said, great bargain price. It cost me less than my Hornby. So absolutely brilliant. Well chuffed with that. So next on my things to show you is a rather expensive piece of kit. And I have to say, it did kind of hurt paying this amount of money for a double slip, and that's what that is. But it was needed. It's up to about £50, so it's pretty eye-watering really for a point. Well, a double slip. So, however, it was needed, and I'll tell you why over at the layout. So here we are at the main layout. So just to give you sort of an idea of where we're at, we have the TMD just here. We have the station just over there. And this is the junction in question. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make this junction a lot more complicated, less complicated. That's what I was meant to say. So I'm going to simplify the junction. The problem that I have with this junction is I've got a couple of issues. I've had a couple of issues in terms of it not running properly over these points in any case. So the plan is also, the other thing is, this is the main run here. This track here is the main run that's going to run in the main loop. So what that means is that basically when the train comes in from the main loop, there's no way of it getting onto the bypass line. It's always got to go through platform 5 at the back of the station, because there's no way for it to cut across here. And basically that's one of the issues I want to address. Not only that it's not really running correctly, I don't really like the way it's sitting. Also, I want to free up this freeway point, because it's actually wasted here, and it's actually cost a lot of money as well. It's cost the same price as the double slip, because as you can see, it doesn't actually lead anywhere. It just leads to where the track cam is just currently sitting. But the problem is that I couldn't get a point to fit properly for the way I wanted it, the geometry. So I had to leave the freeway point in there. So now what I'd like to do is, this is actually a crossover, not a double slip, but it's basically the same radius and the same geometry. But what I'd like to do is, if I just place this on the top here, and I've got this curve here. It's something like that, just roughly anyway. Hopefully, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to try and zoom in a bit. What I'd like to do is have this curve here, that goes into a double slip, and then that way it will free up the curved point here that's going to the right, and it will remove the necessity for the freeway point as well. And then I will push the other point behind, the left-hand point, further back to join the double slip further back. And what this will allow me to do is, will it allow me that if trains come in here can cross over to the far line on the platform 5, or they can still go on the bypass line, and then from the main line here on the left, they've also got that option of either going on the bypass line or going over the double slip onto platform 5, and then therefore releasing the freeway point, and then the other section will just come direct to the freeway point, to the TMD, which will make it a lot more reliable. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So it kind of looks a bit odd at the moment because I've just placed it on the top, but hopefully you get the general gist. So like I said, so this is the main outer line on the main layout. So you can cross over the double slip to go to platform 5, or you can use the double slip to go on the bypass line. And then from the main loop, the big loop, you can come in and you can either choose to go and be diverted onto platform 5, or you can choose to go straight on. So it gives me that extra flexibility to do that, which is what I want to do. And like I said, it will basically free up that freeway point, so it is worth doing, and then I can use that freeway point on the other end of the layout. So here we are at the other end of the layout, and as you can see, it seems like not much progress has been made here at the layout. However, that isn't strictly true, as we'll come to in a moment. So this box here has got the rest of the track work that I need just to create the loop, not to create the fill yard. I've also now fitted the tops on permanently, and I've done all the filling, so that's ready to be, the track's ready to be laid on that. And as we go further down, you can see where the filler's been. It's been totally sanded, that's ready to go. And if I turn you around, this is what I've been doing all week, and that has been building this brand new, constructing this final piece of the puzzle for my railway. So this is as far as it's going to go, across here, and then do the return, and then back. And as you can see, my Eurostar is partially on there, and that's because I've been testing on it. So if I just I'm going to drop you down so you can have a look at some of the features of this unit. So here we are underneath the main bit that I've just built, and as you can see, I've got some storage going on under here, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting a skirt around it, and then like a curtain, and then that will just hide that all off and tidy that up. So we're just looking at some of the features. As you can see, it's also on wheels. Now, these wheels have come courtesy of B&Q. So all these stacker boxes that you see here originally came on wheels. They came with casters, but I've just sat them there because that's all I needed to do. So they've come with these bags of casters, and I didn't use them, so I've used one set to create this unit. So that's where the casters have come from. So it's self-supporting, and it's on wheels, as you can see. At this end, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but if we get underneath, you'll be able to see that it's just bolted on. So that's all it is, it's just bolted onto the next board. And so it can be unbolted and it can be moved with the wheels. And if you go underneath, it's also got retractable landing gear. So there it is there. So basically when it needs to be moved, you can just I can unbolt it. Hopefully you can see it, there's the leg there. And what I'll do is I will quickly demonstrate to you how easy it is. Probably not from here because I've got my arm in the way. So basically I just have to take the nut off and the bolt, which just dropped. This has just got a lock, and then the leg drops down. And if I just remove you out a bit, you can see that leg is now dropped, and then it can be locked into place at the top end there. And as you can see, there's the wheel that drops down. So that leg drops down. So when I need to move it, I can use it. So I have actually removed it. It does actually work. I've tested it. So that leg does drop down. It does work. It does lock. Although I do need to have a bit of a cross brace here as well. That's something that I need to add. So that's something I will be doing at some point. So yeah, but it does actually work. So it is self-supporting. It has got retractable legs and it is just bolted on so it can be moved. So as you can see from this position, it's in its locked position, and then you just slide the latch across to drop the leg. So that's how it's stored. And like I said, so it can be used to, so it basically looks a lot tidier when it's parked up by having the leg removed and have it locked away. It looks nicer. And then obviously when I need to do maintenance, I can drop the leg, pull the board out, do the work, and then put it back and then retract the leg again. So as we sit a bit higher, you can see you've got the fascia board, which is now wrapped totally around the layout. And I needed to fit the fascia board, but I needed to do the terrain for the fascia board first, so I knew what height to set the fascia boards to. The fascia board is white hardboard, which has been screwed in, and basically, hopefully, you'll agree, it just looks a lot more neater and tidier. I've got some graphics coming, so there'll be some more graphics going on here. So that's waiting for that to turn up. I've just been doing some track testing on this bit because there's no track around here yet, but this loop has, because this loop here is how it's going to stay. And as you can see, the terrain has already started to be made up. We've got the embankments already done, which is what that paint is for, that I showed you earlier. This is the green Oasis blocks, which I've carved, I should say, with the knife, like I've shown you previously on Susanna's Come Build With Me. And incidentally, there will be a Susanna's Come Build With Me very soon, the next episode. I do apologise that there is a bit of a delay on it, just purely because I wanted to get this done, because it's important that I got this done within the week that I was off. So basically, this is the green Oasis blocks, which have been carved to the shape. And as you can see, we've got a roadway here, marked out with the matchsticks, that comes down this ramp here, and it has been tested already. And if I just take you around the other side, and there we go, that's probably better. You can see how I've mapped out the road, which is I'm doing it in the exact same way as I've done all my roads previously, which is to draw it out, map it out, play with the vehicles, see how they get round, work out where I'm going to put everything, and then basically once I've created the pencil lines that I've needed, I've then glued the matchsticks around to create the template, and then I can use the filler to lay the filler on top of that to create the road. And this is going to be our country station, our little mini station. So this station that I've showed you earlier, that I'm going to reuse, as you can see, I'm just going to follow the template, the matchsticks, and basically line it up with the matchsticks, and then it should sit down within that space. And that's where that country station is going to go. And so that's pretty cool. In fact, that needs to be moved a bit more further up. That's two. And the good thing is with this is that if it's not quite right, you can pick at it with the brad or whatever and remove the matchstick quite easily. But as you can see, it's still drying a little bit. But that's how it is. And then, like I said, I've been testing with various trains, including the Eurostar over there, to see how it gets round. And the Eurostar is probably my most problematic one, And the reason is, basically, if I just show you, I've got the intermodal one here. So I tested it with the intermodals, it was fine. I tested it with my Belgian cargo wagons, it was fine. But with these ones, this is the Euro style ones, the problem isn't actually the length, it's actually the width. It's actually slightly wider. So it needs a bit more of a clearance to get round the platform. So that's why I was just checking it to make sure before I glued everything down. So when I did the fill-in, that I can just sort that out, make sure that the clearance is already there. And I've been using this Digitrax controller to be able to just do some testing with it. And I think it's plugged in. It is. So if I just sort of show it to you, you can sort of probably see it just go around. But like I said, this is what I've been using just to test it, really. So let's just see if it's going the right way around first. There you go. So it does get through okay. But like I said, I've had to do some testing with it because that is actually a tighter curve than I thought. So this concludes the end of today's video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you can see where we're going with it, and hopefully it won't be too long before we can do a complete circuit around the layout. So we'll probably have an inaugural first journey. So it's got to be a special train. So we're going to try and do a special train with a cam truck as well, to celebrate the first train running and doing a complete circuit around the flat. So until the next time, it's goodbye from Mildenhall and Districts, and I hope you've enjoyed the big update. So bye for now. Bye bye.